Your phone unlocks when it sees your face. Your email magically separates important messages from spam. And somewhere in a lab, a computer program just taught itself to beat the world champion at the most complex board game ever created. These aren't three different technologies. They're three different flavors of the exact same thing: machine learning. But here's what most people get wrong. They think machine learning is just one technique. It's actually three completely different approaches to teaching machines. And understanding the difference is the key that unlocks everything else in AI. In the next 10 minutes, you're going to understand all three so clearly that you could explain them to a 10-year-old. Before we dive into the types, let's nail down what machine learning actually is. Traditional programming is like giving someone a recipe. You write exact instructions, and the computer follows them step by step. Machine learning flips this completely. Instead of writing rules, you show the computer examples, and it figures out the rules on its own. Think of it like the difference between memorizing a phrase book before visiting Japan versus actually living there and picking up the language naturally. The computer learns from experience, not from instructions. Now, just like humans learn in different ways, machines do too. Some of us learn best when a teacher guides us through problems and tells us when we're right or wrong. Others learn by exploring and finding patterns nobody pointed out. And some learn by trying things, failing, and adjusting, like learning to ride a bike. These three human learning styles map perfectly to the three types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Let's start with the most common one. Supervised learning is exactly what it sounds like. Learning with supervision. You give the machine a data set where every example comes with the correct answer already attached. These correct answers are called labels. Imagine you're teaching a child to identify animals. You show them a picture of a cat and say, cat. Picture of a dog, you say, dog. After hundreds of examples, the child starts recognizing new animals they've never seen before. That's supervised learning in a nutshell. The machine learns the relationship between inputs and their correct outputs, then applies that knowledge to new situations. You interact with supervised learning dozens of times every day without realizing it. When Gmail moves a suspicious email to spam, that's a supervised model trained on millions of emails labeled spam or not spam. When your phone's keyboard predicts your next word, it learned from billions of sentences where the next word was already known. Face recognition, trained on labeled photos. This face belongs to this person. Even medical diagnosis AI learns from X-rays that doctors have already labeled as tumor or healthy. The common thread is always the same: labeled training data where the right answer is provided upfront. Supervised learning actually splits into two subtypes based on what you're predicting. When the output is a category, like spam or not spam, cat or dog, approve or reject a loan. That's called classification. You're sorting things into buckets. But when the output is a number on a continuous scale, like predicting house prices, tomorrow's temperature, or how many units will sell next month, that's regression. Same underlying principle of learning from labeled examples. But classification picks a category, while regression predicts a quantity. Most real-world problems clearly fall into one or the other. Here's the catch with supervised learning. Someone has to create all those labels, and that's expensive and time-consuming. To build a good image recognition model, you might need millions of labeled images. Companies like Google and Meta pay thousands of people to label data. In India, there's actually a huge data labeling industry. People manually tagging images, transcribing audio, and marking up text so machines can learn. This labeling bottleneck is exactly why the other two types of machine learning exist. What if the machine could learn without needing all those labels? Enter unsupervised learning. Learning without a teacher. Here, you give the machine raw data with no labels whatsoever and say, "Find me something interesting." The algorithm looks for hidden patterns, structures, and groupings that humans might never notice. It's like dumping 1,000 puzzle pieces on a table without showing the final picture. The machine figures out which pieces probably go together based on their shapes and colors. Nobody tells it the right answer because there isn't one predefined answer. The machine discovers structure in the chaos. The most common unsupervised technique is clustering, automatically grouping similar things together. Imagine you run an online store with 1 million customers. You don't know anything about them except their purchase history. A clustering algorithm can analyze buying patterns and automatically segment customers into groups. Maybe bargain hunters, luxury shoppers, occasional buyers, and loyal regulars. You never told it these categories exist. It discovered them. Spotify uses clustering to group songs with similar audio features, which is how it builds those eerily accurate playlists. E-commerce sites use it to group products. The applications are endless. Clustering isn't the only unsupervised trick. Dimensionality reduction helps when your data has too many features to visualize or process efficiently. Imagine describing a person with 100 different measurements: height, weight, age, income, and 96 more. Unsupervised algorithms can compress this into just 2 or 3 key dimensions while keeping the important information, making patterns visible that were impossible to see before. Then there's anomaly detection, finding the odd one out. Credit card companies use this to spot fraudulent transactions that don't fit normal patterns. No one labeled transactions as fraud. The algorithm just notices when something doesn't belong. Now for the most fascinating type, reinforcement learning, forget labeled data entirely. Here, an AI agent learns by interacting with an environment and receiving rewards or penalties based on its actions. Think of training a dog. You don't show it videos of other dogs sitting. You say, "Sit," and when it sits, you give it a treat. Over time, it learns which actions lead to treats. Reinforcement learning works identically. The AI tries random actions, sees what happens, and gradually figures out strategies that maximize its reward. It's learning from consequences, not from examples. Reinforcement learning has produced some of AI's most jaw-dropping achievements. DeepMind's AlphaGo learned to play Go, a game with more possible positions than atoms in the universe, and beat the world champion in 2016. It wasn't trained on human strategies. It played millions of games against itself, discovering moves that human experts had never conceived in 3,000 years of playing. OpenAI's bots learn to play complex video games at superhuman levels. Robots learn to walk, flip, and navigate obstacles using reinforcement learning. The magic is that these systems discover solutions no human programmer could have written explicitly. Reinforcement learning faces a fascinating dilemma called exploration versus exploitation. Should the agent exploit what it already knows, works, or explore new actions that might be even better? Too much exploitation means getting stuck in a local optimum, like always going to the same restaurant because it's decent, never discovering your new favorite place. Too much exploration means never mastering anything. The best reinforcement learning algorithms balance both. Trying new things, often enough to discover better strategies while still capitalizing on what they've already learned. It's a mathematical version of a very human struggle. Let's bring it all together with a clear comparison. Supervised learning needs labeled data and predict specific outputs. Use it when you know what you're looking for and have examples. Unsupervised learning finds hidden patterns in unlabeled data. Use it when you want to discover structure you didn't know existed. Reinforcement learning learns optimal behavior through trial and error in an environment. Use it when there's no data set, just a goal, and the ability to experiment. Many real systems combine multiple types. A self-driving car uses supervised learning for object detection, unsupervised learning to understand road patterns, and reinforcement learning to make driving decisions. If you're just starting your machine learning journey, begin with supervised learning. It's the most intuitive, has the clearest feedback loop, and covers 80% of real-world applications. Most job postings and tutorials focus here. Once you're comfortable, unsupervised learning adds powerful tools for understanding data. Reinforcement learning is the frontier, harder to master, but incredibly rewarding for robotics, games, and autonomous systems. The beautiful thing is that the core intuition transfers between all three. Understanding how one works genuinely makes the others easier to grasp. You've now got the mental map. The next step is to start building. You just learned the three fundamental types of machine learning. Supervised learning uses labeled data to predict specific outcomes. That's your spam filters and face recognition. Unsupervised learning discovers hidden patterns in raw data, powering customer segmentation and anomaly detection. And reinforcement learning teaches AI through trial, error, and rewards, creating game-playing champions and autonomous robots. This framework will guide everything you learn in AI from here on. Next, watch our video on how neural networks actually work. It's the perfect follow-up and shows you what's happening inside these learning machines. Subscribe to Sucrid Learn Hub so you never miss a video, and drop a comment telling us which type of machine learning surprised you most. See you in the next one.